Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
Women, if you could give all guys one sex tip, what would it be? If I say just like that, I mean just like that. I swear as soon as I hear that from my wife, I can start to feel the cramps from holding that position, tempo, angle 100% of the time. It's always the awkward, unsustainable position that makes women feel the best. Pounds harder. I just lose rhythm because I get in my head. Her, just like that. Me, just like what? What was I doing? Exclamation mark quote, followed by 4.6 sloppy attempts recreate the thing I was doing. That hygiene is the most important thing. So just spray some Axe body spray on top of myself with no shower. Don't worry about my breath, I wash down the fish taco with a Coke. Bro, at least wash your dick and balls in the sink. We call that taking a bird bath. Cool. Every woman is different. Find out early what she likes and what she doesn't and stick to the script. Everyone's giving specifics when this is the correct answer. This one plus trim your nails. Trim your nails, edit, and clean and file. To be fair, I thought both were obvious, but thanks replies for reminding me. Coupled with scrub your nails when you wash your hands. I don't want to ooty bro. Be romantic. Don't act like roommates all day, then expect her be automatically turned on when you jump into bed. Absolutely. Everyone in a long-term relationship should read Mating in Captivity by Esther Perel. Or at least watch her on YouTube. Balancing the housemate versus stable life partner versus passionate lover versus closest friend thing is not easy and takes conscious work. Goes both ways. If you were nicer to me, we'd have more sex. If we had more sex, I'd be a hell of a lot nicer. 100%. My girl has a much lower sex drive than me and it feels like I'm putting in work 24/7 to try and get laid once per week. It's fucking exhausting. Foreplay, do it. Also, foreplay doesn't start with touching her. It starts with making her feel sexy and making her find you desirable as well. For some women it's compliments, gifts, quality time together, non-sexual affection. Learn what she likes and don't just do it when you want sex. If you do, she'll want to have sex a lot more often. Or she'll take all the affection and flirty jokes all day and then fall asleep on the couch a half hour after dinner. Make some noise, please. Do you consider reciting Constantine the 11th last speech as making some noise? You, my comrades in arms, obey the commands of your leaders in the knowledge that this is the day of your glory, a day on which, if you shed but a drop of blood, you will win for yourselves crowns of martyrdom and eternal fame. Exergat deus a discipentur animi ejus, a fugiant qui oderant eum forci ejus. Sicit deficit fumus deficient, sicit fluit serra a forci ignis, sic parent peccators a forci Dei. IDK if all girls relate to this, but for me I always want to say, or do and they just don't get it, that pointy, pokey pressure on the clit does not feel good. It kinda hurts and then goes numb. Don't poke it with your fingertips or the tip of your tongue. Use more flat, full coverage pressure. Like if it's your hand, cup your hand and use the length of your fingers curved around it, or more the flat part of your tongue. This needs to be a PSA spread across the land. Moan, whimper, make sounds, grunt even, it's hot as fuck. Zug zug. I use the classic, oh golly, oh geez, I find it works really well. If we tell you to slow it down, we don't mean slow down for just a second, only to then speed it up even more. I say this with love lol. If you can't handle me at my lightning McQueeniest, you don't deserve me at my Snorlaxiest. Kiss, kiss every place possible without making it awkward, just kiss. And you don't always have to use the tongue. Honestly. Kisses eyeball. I liked. Kiss her butthole first. Kiss, never stop, kisses for the kiss god. Hugs for the hug throne. Slow down. Take it slow. 0 to 100 takes a lot longer for us ladies. Half as hard, twice as slow. Twice the pride, double the fall. Quote. Dear Reddit, what's the sexiest sex that you ever sexed? This will never not be funny with the notorious amount of posts on this topic in this sub. When we say we're close, don't change a single thing, don't even blink. I'm close, is the trigger word for my brain to initiate a diabolical leg cramp. Banging with a cramp should satisfy the, make some noise, requirement. Manage your expectations. It's not a contest. The first time you drove a car you may have made some rookie errors, but look at you now, you're fine. Porn is very fake and unrealistic. Real people don't tend to fuck like that. You're not completing a checklist. You're having a real, human experience. It feels better when you are relaxed. Shower first. Joke's on you, I'm a terrible driver. And always will be cool. If they ask you to do something a bit differently, the correct response is never, but, previous partner, said, liked, loved. Your previous partner is free to have preferences, that doesn't mean they match mine. I'm sorry for the dumbass that said something like that to you. Don't copy porn. I don't bend that way. Not with that attitude. Early on in my life I was with a girl who was older than me and I was pretty inexperienced. I was trying to fold her like a pretzel. She looked at me and said, "What are you trying to do? Make me fart?" Lol, one of my first times happened something similar. I wasn't trying to replicate porn, but I couldn't quite find the right angle. Somehow she ended up hanging head down from one side of the bed, hands on the floor, while I was standing next to my bed, kinda just smacking my balls against her back in an heroic attempt to find the right orifice, and finding the position very strange, like, am I supposed to be watching your calves right now? She is pointing up, not, something isn't right, there's like, a 90 degrees difference here. None of us were experienced, the sounds made were too fucking funny, and when her arms got tired and she inevitably fell down to the floor, she folded and farted. We didn't had sex that one time, but it was followed by 10 solid minutes of laughter, then a lot of cuddling and kisses, so a good time was had either way. Learning sex from porn is like learning light infantry tactics from 80s and 90s Hollywood action films. Slow down, fart do's are yellow light mean. I'm old enough to get this reference. Be mindful of where she is before you finish. One of my exes, when he was close to finishing and I wasn't, he would stop and eat me out for a bit before he would go back into it. Made me fall in love because I felt like he cared so much. I like starting out that way. If she's ahead, it's easier for me to catch up than waiting for her to do it. Or finish her off with oral first before going in. This doesn't work for some women. I lose the mood after my orgasm for around 20 minutes and don't want to do it at all. It's a good idea, although I think I'd jump back in after eating her out and come 5 seconds later. My sex stamina is unfortunately shite most of the time. Maybe a bit niche, but don't grab hold of her legs, thighs when you're going down on her. She needs to be able to move around slightly to get the right angle, so if you pin her legs, she might not be able to climax. This is the first actually useful information I've seen on here. Most of the other stuff is just common sense. Ironically, I really like the feeling of being pinned down, cold sweat, smile IDK if I'm just wired up weird, but it really adds to the experience for me. Till great advice though! Exclamation mark. Some women like it, tears of joy, man shrugging, IMO, this isn't a, don't ever, it's a, discuss things with your partner, and if you're someone who likes holding women down, find a woman who likes being held down, situation. Sometimes I do that so she doesn't dislocate my jaw. Be gentle until we ask you not to be. Exclamation mark. Best I can do is hold in the fart until orgasm. The urethra is not a G-spot, and it is, in fact, painful for most women. If you decide to use your fingers or tongue on a woman, and your go-to move is to ignore the clit and shove your finger up against their pee hole, you shouldn't be having sex. If a woman said she was going to give you a handy, then she proceeded to not touch your dick at all aside from shoving her finger up your urethra, you would not call that a good hand job. Does this happen often? JFC. It's a pretty common sight in a lot of new pornography, so my guess is that a lot of younger men are seeing it in porn and trying it IRL. I've also had the misfortune of being with some of these dudes. If a woman said she was going to give you a handy, then she proceeded to not touch your dick at all aside from shoving her finger up your urethra, you would not call that a good hand job. Well, of course not. You'd have to get the whole fist up there if you want to call it a hand job. I don't know if it's still a thing, as I've been with the same man for over a decade now. And this was a specific type of guy, but relax on trying to make your woman squirt. You'll get way too focused and just end up hurting us. My wife is multi-orgasmic, but in 30+ years she's never squirted. Some women just don't do that. I have squirted, but I have no control over it, and it doesn't feel like anything to me. Our bodies are weird. Isn't it just pee anyway? That ain't exactly the worry for folks interested, I think. Yes, it is 99 to 100% pee. Anyone who says differently is an idiot. Nah, they have a second, secret bladder. Porn is not an instruction manual, it is practically an anti-manual. The best description I've ever read is, using porn as a guide for sex is like using Fast and Furious as a guide for learning how to drive. Wash your genitals every day. No woman wants to be catching BV from their partner. Edit, when I say every day, I mean every day. Edit, this includes your butt, with soap and water. It's not gay to wash your butt. Do it. If anyone thinks it's gay to wash themselves, do yourself a favor and move on, lol. Wait, people don't, question mark. Right, who takes a shower and doesn't wash their butthole? 80% of the reason I take a shower is to wash the crack and stones. I feel like I can't walk right if I haven't cleaned the kingdom correctly. Lol, Yes. The amount of posts in our relationship advice about this is honestly horrifying. SLOWER. It's 1000x better to have a longer round, even if there's no orgasm. Stop speedrunning it, and do some freaking talking. No need to curse, but be hot. Baby, I've been waiting for this all day. I miss feeling your body, you make me go crazy. Stop gnawing on it when you're down there loudly crying. If you don't want teeth on yours, why would I? Question mark. Who's the monster doing this? Exclamation mark. Maybe I lost my gum. What it feels like chewing 5 gum. Don't assume every woman likes it your way. Treat her like a person with her own wants and desires and not as a toy for your pleasure. Don't use her as a more advanced form of masturbating. Initiates advanced masturbation, ha 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 ha. Stop making hamburglar noises when going down. I cannot wait to surprise my wife with hamburglar sounds. Thank you, dear netizen. Enjoy your happy meal tilde tilde. Don't try to change me, woman.